Alright, I will be telling you guys a little bit about how to embroider on a shirt, or it's pretty basic for material, anything that you want to use. So first you kind of really need an embroidery machine. This is a picture of a 4-head, but there's also single head, 6 heads, 18 heads, so it goes really large. It depends on the size of the factory or company. There's stuff that's called Pellin, which is this. These two are just samples of regular Pellin that I use on a daily basis. There's also Solvay, which is a water-soluble film, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the next slide. There's also hoops. There's all different kinds of hoops. This depends on what size logo you want to do or what you want to put on the shirt or anything that you're doing. You need thread, which is just the colors that you want to choose from. That is going to be the end design. This has just a couple different threads in it. You need bobbins, which this is actually a little piece of material or thread kind of. It's a little thinner than the regular thread that goes on the top, but this holds the thread, the stitches underneath the shirt or the material. You also need a design or logo, depends on if you have a logo for a company or anything. And also a shirt or a jacket, depends on whatever you want to embroider.
Nice.
So like I was describing a little bit before, here's different samples of the Pellin. This is a little bit thicker. This would probably go on something that's thin, that needs extra stability, so it's a little bit thicker, it has a little bit more bulk to it. It just adheres the thread to the material ultimately. Here's a thin one. This is called no-show. It's good for dress shirts, anything white, because you can't see through it then, or it's a lot thinner than the average. You can kind of just see your hand through it. Solvay, this is a water-soluble film. It's used to make the surface smoother. So if you have the needle points and it's on a textured surface, you're going to see the edges of the texture of the shirt. So this is just something that you place over the top of it while it's running, and you spray it at the end and it dissolves and you hang it to dry. So it just gives a clear embroidery. And then, like I said, here's the hoops. Those are just samples of all the different types of hoops. This is for the brother machines. There's also different kinds that can change from green to blue. It just really depends on what machine you're using. So for hooping a shirt, it's just, you really want to take the size of the hoop that you want. Take the ring, would be a hoop ring. You would just pretty much lay it on the table or wherever you're working with, lay it flat. And like I said, the Pellin is what holds the embroidery together. So the Pellin goes next on top of the hoop ring, and then you take the material or whatever you're embroidering. This is just sample scrap stuff that we use. So you just lay it over the top, and you make sure it's flat, because if it's not flat, then there's going to be marks in the embroidery. Or it's just going to fold the material over and sew it folded or pinched look. It's not going to have a flat surface. So then you're going to line it up straight, and it depends if you're going to be obviously doing it on the left chest. You got to make sure it's straight, or on the back. It just all depends on where you're doing it. So you just take the top part of the ring and you snap it into the bottom, so it kind of just holds everything together. And then, so this really, if it's kind of a thin material, it's got a pretty much smooth surface, but since it's stretchy, it might have a little bit jagged edges, so I would still cut maybe this a little smaller and place it on the top and tape it around. This never hurts. You can use it on everything. You don't have to, but it just never. Okay. So then you have different color choices of thread, bobbins. There's actually, this is white bobbins. There's black. There's different colors. So if you have it, it actually holds the thread together. So you can see that this is a white bobbin. And there's, like, say if you're doing a black jacket and the jacket opens, you want to use black bobbins, so then it matches with the back of the shirt so you can't see it as well. So there, you want to just choose your thread. You can also switch it. You can have like tone on tone on your shirt. You can have it different colors just so it stands out more. So there's a kind of a specific way to put the thread on. You take over to the back of the machine. For the most part, it's already set up where there's thread already lined up in the back of the machines. Different machines have anywhere between 9 to 15 color changes or color spools on there. So then you can tie it up. So you just take off the old thread and tie the new thread to the back and make a knot, like a double knot. Sometimes if it's too thick, it's not going to go through the needle hole when you pull it through. So you kind of adjust it, and it's just pretty much to get it to go through the needles without having to rerun them. So the bobbin, like I said, it goes in the bottom of the machine. This is the bobbin casing, which this actually goes in, and there's a special direction where it goes. When you put it in and you drop it, it would go counterclockwise. So it would spin counterclockwise. So then, after you have all that set, you want to just check the tensions. It's pretty much loose is going to be looping, tight is going to be really tight. If it's too tight, it can break the thread in the back by pulling, and it'll just snap the thread. So it's kind of, it needs to be like even, like in thirds. So believe it or not, they still use a lot of floppy disks.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory. You can use other ones, but for single item embroidery, it's the easiest just to put one on a disk and put it in the machine, because otherwise it uses up a lot of storage and memory on computers that you really don't need. So if you're doing 10 different logos or more than that in a day, you pretty much just put it on the disk, erase it, put another one on the disk, erase it. So it's just easier to do it that way. So after you put the disk in the machine, you input it, and then first of all, you have to change colors and load the colors in the machine. Say if you're running a beanie cap, like you have to flip it upside down. It depends on the direction of the way you're putting it on the machine, and the way the logo runs is the direction of that you put it. You can rotate it any direction that you want. So if it's hard to hoop something straight. Say like for jackets, it's hard to hoop it completely straight, so I just hoop it sideways and make this part in line with the zipper, so then it's always going to be straight with the jacket. So the zipper would be like right here, and then you make it in line with that. So you just kind of make sure that you rotate it the right way. And then when you put it on the machine, it's kind of tricky because, like you can see that I'm kind of have my hand underneath here. It's right now it would be like this. So you're putting your hand right here to kind of make sure that you're not getting it stuck underneath the machine. Kind of hold it out, and then you push it in. And right here, you snap into the machine to keep it from moving. So then you just got to make sure that there's nothing extra folded over like this, because otherwise that'll sew straight through there. You sew it shut, and then it's no longer a shirt. So next, pretty much after you have the color set and you have the item on the machine, you press start and babysit. You really got to babysit it, because if you walk away, it'll stop. There'll be thread breaks. There'll be stuff called bird's nest, which the bobbin gets bunched up underneath. It's kind of weird. Bird's nest, they use all these different terms and kind of get used to it. But so after you put it on the machine, or after you press start and you're babysitting it, like I said, just stay close, because you want to change a needle break, or sometimes the needles do break, or the thread breaks, or the bobbin comes undone. It's just there's a lot more that goes involved with it. So you really have to have probably time dedicated to doing the job. And never put your hands by the needles while the machine's running. People have, so their hands, needles go straight through the fingernails. Yes, I've been there for it. It's not fun.
I had to say that, right?
I know. Getting a bad image here.
Yeah, it's not.
Tattoo would be embroidered.
And it's very strong. I mean, you can go through like an inch leather. I mean, the machine's super strong, so you just have to have different size needles for different materials that you're going in, or you're embroidering. So it's a very powerful machine. You don't want to put your hands in front of it. This is just a sample of the detail of what embroidery can look like. It's just a peacock. It has different colors, and it's just there's different size or different stitches. This would be a fill stitch. This is run stitch, and so it's all different depending on what type of detail that you want to really make stand out. Good embroidery should be smooth and have no loops in the thread. If it has loops in the thread, then there's bad tension or even bad bobbin. Change a bobbin or change a needle. Sometimes it's just bad product. So kind of just got to work with it and know your tensions and make sure that you have enough time to dedicate to running the product, and that's about it. And I have a couple samples of different embroideries that we can do. Like this is just for anybody who maybe likes cars. This for seat covers. This is kind of on leather. We do seat covers, and then they sew them onto the seats. And so it's like we do them before they're sewn on, because otherwise you can't sew through the products or through the station. Is there any questions?
Now, is that, can you buy, that's just an industrial machine?
There's single heads that aren't industrial,
Mhm.
but they don't have to do as many details.
Okay.
And you need a special program to do the digitizing, which is to be able to make this. You can buy regular ones from the store that you can just type in names or text and it'll fill out that, but you have to have probably a more industrial or commercial.
Okay.
At least there's commercial single heads that can go between 12 to 35,000.
Yeah, I bet.
And they just get more expensive than that.
Any other questions? Very good. Thank you.